Hey guys, it's Mike the Wrestling God Smith. This video is actually I had some thoughts because I just got this thought from Stephen Larson when they're doing their video about what would the WWE change if Vince steps down, and I think when Vince steps down, there's gonna be a lot of changes, but the how is that Triple H would be able to run NXT, run the main roster, and Raw and SmackDown both better without Vince. Because here's the thing. I love Vince McMahon. He's a genius. He's the guy who came up with the brand split. He's a genius. But that time has passed. Like, I think it's going to change because everybody who was on the main roster who was from NXT, like Finn Balor, like Andrade, like all these dudes who left, you see, and you know what? Steve is right. Adam Cole would probably get success on the main roster if he went to SmackDown. But if he goes to Raw, he's not going to get a main title. He's not going to get a main title like he gets on NXT, where William Regal's a little bit more agreeable than Adam Pearce. He's a little bit more agreeable. I think that when Vince does step down, it's going to be a different thing because, look, I think that the people on Raw seriously needs a reboot or a whole new look at things. And I thought Rhea was going to be that person, and Rhea is that person, but she's not. And I thought maybe in the back of my mind that Raw was going to get better. Raw is never going to get better because you know why Raw is never going to get better? It's because they need somebody who isn't Vince, who doesn't need to come up with a story, who doesn't need to come up with an idea. The storyline should just be flowing organically. The women's division needs to step up and change because here's the thing. If Charlotte decides to leave, just like Sasha or Bayley decide to leave, those three women are Becky who left on maternity leave, which they really want Becky to come back. She's not coming back. Because she's not going to come back and be the women's champion again because that's not going to happen. Asuka could have been had a great streak if they didn't want to break her undefeated streak. And that's the thing. They need people. That's why I don't think them bringing anybody from NXT, just like Io Shirai, don't bring her yet. Let Raw change first, then bring her in. Because what I'm saying is, look, I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from all different types of eras of wrestling that WWE has had, like the ruthless aggression era, like the Attitude era. Like when the Hulkamania era, it wasn't really like it was a lot of guys. There were some top guys. You had Hulk Hogan, you had Randy, you had Macho Man Randy Savage, you had Macho Man, you had guys like that. You had guys who were just no name guys. You had uh something Janetti. You had Janetti, you had him, you had guys like Steve Austin, you had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, you had guys who before they even went to WCW were on WWE trying to be stars, and then when dudes went to WCW, like Ric Flair, because Rick left 85, I think 82, 85 he left, and this is the thing, like you have and this is the thing. If Hogan wasn't the big draw that he was, and Andre the Giant wasn't the biggest draw that he was when he was alive, then this era that we have right now with Raw wouldn't be existing. Monday Night Raw wouldn't be as good as it is right now. But this is the thing. Monday Night Raw needs to change because they're never going to change it. Because they have people that have men great talent. Humongous talent. And this is the thing I'm realizing with too. It's because they're trying to put a price tag on this brand. They can't. Because this is the thing. We should be getting better matches. We should be getting championship matches every week, like in the Ruthless Aggression era. Got it every week. There should be a guy who is a general manager that isn't a general manager for one brand, but also a general manager for the other brand. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a general manager for Raw and for SmackDown, not both. And this is the thing I'm talking about. You got a guy like Adam Pearce who's a great general manager, but doesn't know how to make a match. He's not an Eric Bischoff. He's not a Steve Austin. He's not a guy, a wrestler who knows what wrestlers want. And even in 2016, when they were going in this new era direction, when Shane came back, they were doing it. They had guys, they had massive talent, and I'm not trying to make this a rant video, guys. I'm just explaining because this is the thing. We need a guy like Shane, or we need a general manager that can bring Raw back to bring it back to what it is. That's why everybody goes to SmackDown, because they're getting better opportunities on SmackDown rather than going to Raw or going to NXT. Because you know why? Because NXT is a brand that actually is a small brand, but it's not really a pissant brand. Because you know why it's not? Because everybody who went to NXT became stars and went back to NXT to bring the new generation in, to bring guys like Johnny Gargano, bring women like Zoe Starks, and all these women in NXT to make them another brand in the UK. And then the thing is, that brand took the Cruiserweight title and made it a mainstream title, which it should have been on Raw and not its own brand. It shouldn't have been that way. If they wanted to do that, they could have gave Ray the general manager job. They could have gave it to him because he had a little bit more experience about being a cruiserweight. He has a little bit more experience. But this is the thing, guys. Raw's never going to change because Vince, even if Vince does have down, he'll give the job to Adam Pearce. He'll give it to him. Triple H should be running the whole operation, and Stephanie should be running it. They had the idea to run it, so why won't they do it? He's focusing on NXT, which is great. But if the NXT stars are suffering because of the main roster stuff, that they're not getting the championship opportunities that they deserve, then what's the point? Then what is the point? They don't respect it. They don't respect it because here's the thing. Like I said in my SmackDown review about Cesaro and Jay. Cesaro's a perfect example. Guy's been in the WWE for 10 years. Hasn't gotten a title shot yet since the tag team title since he was with Tyson Kidd. And that was in early 2015, early 2014, going into 2016. And that's all we got. We don't get anything with him. You don't get anything with them. And then the sad part is when they were trying to bring guys like Cesaro and all these dudes in here, like Big Cass, like Enzo, because they couldn't do anything on the main roster with them. That's why they floundered. He's a big guy. He was a big dude. And they had the big guy curse because they wanted a powerhouse like Big Show. Like when they brought him, Big Show was a powerhouse because he was in WCW winning a belt and he had the poise. He wanted to take on everybody. That's what they did. And the thing is with AEW, the reason why they can flourish is because Tony Khan's not Vince. Tony Khan lets them go free. Tony Khan lets them do their gimmick the way they want to do it. That's why they want to do it. That's why they want to have a guy like, that's why. Because they'll take a guy who's not an Adam Cole or Daniel Bryan type, they'll take him and make him a star. They took Ricky Starks. What they could have taken him and brought him in. They didn't want to bring him in. He was a security. He was a catering guy. And I knew I remembered seeing him. They took a guy like Ryback, who was a dude who was in a faction, who came from NXT, was in a faction with Wade Barrett, but didn't do anything with him. They wanted him to be the next Goldberg, and he wasn't going to be the next Goldberg. See, the only way if WWE does change, if Vince does step down, it's going to change a lot. That means the women's division, everybody would be able to get a chance. Everyone, even the Iconics. Instead of splitting them and making that Raw tag team division, what they've been trying to make and they've been failing at making because they don't know what to give, everybody would have more people. And this is the thing, they don't know what they want. Because here's the thing, I'm a fan, guys, just like you guys are, and I like to make money. I like to see my champions. I like to see the women get their respect, the women get their chances, and the men get their chances. But if they're not going to get them, guys who have been in the business, who've been in the business for 10 years or more than 10 or plus 15 years or whatever, just going from the indie scene to the WWE, that's why AEW will swoop up and take them. That's why AEW, the second year, are already killing it now. Because they're not even out of business yet. Nobody's leaving AEW just yet. And they'll come in, and this is why, and I'm pretty sure if Daniel Bryan wants to really think about it, he'll go to AEW. He would go. He would go to AEW. He would take that opportunity. You know what? I'll go to AEW. I'll be a star. I'll be a champion again. Because at the end of the day, Edge could have did the same thing. Christian did the same thing. This is what I mean, guys. You're taking legends who have already performed or already did their 15 years in. That's why you're never going to see, we're probably not going to see Edge again. He'll probably do a one-year thing, and then we're probably not going to see him again, if they even wanted to push that storyline. Because they want guys like Roman Reigns. They want guys like Braun Strowman. And the thing is, it's always been a Braun Strowman up and down crapshoot, because you know why? Because Vince doesn't know what he wants. He wants Baron Corbin to be something, but they wanted to put the title on Baron Corbin. What happened? That failed. He's never going to be anything. You have a stacked tag division on SmackDown, which don't even get the titles. And then the thing is, you finally use Robert Roode and Dolph. You finally use Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, but that never happens, guys. Because you know why it doesn't happen? Because the guy went from being an NXT champion, the most heel NXT champion, to nothing. Went from being a freaking Ric Flair ripoff, Mr. Wonderful ripoff, if I really want to go that far, because that's what I'll go that far, and I'll do that, but anyway. And when had one thing with the United States title, had a one rivalry with Hideo Itami, before he became Kenta again at freaking AEW. So pretty much, they consistently failed. But you know what? I digress. But you know what? I digress. Because you know what? Raw's got to change. That's the first thing that has to change in the WWE if Vince steps down. Raw. I want my champion. I want my title to be defended. Not like once in a while. I want a tag team defense every week. I want a title every world heavy WWE title defended every week. And I want the United States title defended every week. And even if you have to do a main card, that's fine. Even if you have to do a mid card, bring some dudes from NXT that they're not using. Bring Austin Theory. He's gotten better. So you bring him, he'll be the mid card guy. You try to do something with him and Angel Garza, it just didn't work. And this is the thing, you got Angel Garza, he's not doing nothing. He's not doing anything. You got Legado del Fantasma on NXT, they're gonna freaking kill. So you can bring those guys in and shake some things up and cause a little bit of fraction between the two, and bring it in with the Street Profits so they can take on them to give them a little bit of a new rivalry. But I don't think you would bring them just yet. See, here's the thing. Raw needs to change. SmackDown does too. The women need to get more title shots. Everybody needs to get used. I think Alexa Bliss needs to stop being the Fiend, whatever she's trying to be, the Fiend sidekick or medium or whatever they're trying to do with the Fiend. The Fiend's played out, guys. The Fiend is played out. They don't even know what they want to do with the guy. And it's really kind of sad, though. Because at the end of the day, they're going to end up making the money with that guy. They're going to end up... Because Bray Wyatt could just say, like, listen, I'm done. I've done it for a while. I'm done. And I actually remember Bray Wyatt as somebody else as an old NXT guy, Husky Harris. Yeah, I remember that. I remember hearing his voice and everything because he sounded just like what he used to sound like. Nobody ever want to bring up that run. That was when NXT was a reality show before it became what it is today. Nobody wants to bring it up. And the sad part is, the women who brought the women's division into fold, like Trish Stratus, Kelly Kelly, Tori Wilson, just to name a few, and Lita in China, and the rest of these women that came in, like Jazz. They didn't do a Hall of Fame for her. WWE didn't. They did it for Molly Holly. Did it for her. Did it for Ivory, but I mean, God forbid they do it for Jazz. But Impact did it. They recognized her. Because at the end of the day, guys, this is what I mean. The WWE should have recognized, and I'm finally glad that she got in the Hall of Fame, but I'm mad that it took them 2 or 3 years later to get rid of the past stuff. Even if she did the stuff in the past 90s, don't blame her for it. Don't. Same thing with Chris Benoit. Don't blame him for it. They should have put that dude in the Hall of Fame just to say thank you. Because no matter what, and that's the thing, I'm a Chris Benoit guy, and you guys could hate me for that, but I like the guy because he was the first guy to show that even if he was a small guy, he could become a champion. He brought Shelton Benjamin to the next level. And look at what happened to Shelton Benjamin. Dude got fired, came back, had a faction, was in a faction with Bobby Lashley, bro. And finally got a championship that he actually had besides the United States Championship. Besides the Intercontinental. He actually got a tag title. And the thing is, he was already decorated when he walked in. This is what I mean, guys. The WWE has to change. They got to change everything. That means Raw has to get a bottom-up design. They got to think about what they really want. Because they're giving all these guys, Shane McMahon, turning it into that Raw Underground junk. That didn't work. I don't mind the War Raiders coming back. I don't mind seeing them. But here's the joke. I want them to go after the titles, too. I want them. I want people from NXT coming up and wanting to see Raw before they want to join. They don't even ask you. They don't even want to ask you. And that's what they should be thinking about. Asking the people, asking the talent, like, hey, do you really want to move up to... If you don't want to move up to Raw, it's okay. Do you want to check out... Do you want to observe Raw before you go on SmackDown and make your decision? They don't never ask about that. They have all these color commenters, and they don't never ask. That's what I'm saying, guys. That's what I would want for the new WWE to work like. The business to work like. To ask your talent. AEW does that. AEW lets you go to Dark Elevation, do whatever you want to do. Why can't Vince do it? He has the money.